Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Some Okie Dude. It's not Britain's Hangout Hour, at least not this time. We already had that episode. I'm here with D today. Hi, D.
Hi, Britain.
How are you? How are? Well, I already asked
Yeah,
you, but how are you for the
I'm good.
public?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, I'm kind of tired because
Yeah,
I had to go to court today. I'm not in
yeah.
trouble. It was for a
Not for
client.
yourself. Let's clear that up.
People are gonna be like, Britain, you bad boy. What have you been
What did you
doing?
do, Britain? What did you do?
If I ever went to court, it would probably be for something dumb, like if I forgot to pay a ticket or something. It'd probably be something
Yeah,
banal like
same, I
that.
think. Yeah. Well, picked up a paper and walked out with it because my dementia's kicking in.
Not much of a criminal.
Hmm.
Well, you did say you saw my short movie I did about that guy who
I did.
broke in the house, which was my house.
Well, I gathered. And that was your dad as well in a minute at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was he was
yeah.
real he was real proud of that part.
Oh, he was good. He
He's
was
like,
good.
oh
He's a
yeah,
big guy,
yeah,
though, isn't he?
yeah, a bit.
Yeah, he's
Tell
a
him he
bit of a
said
giant of a
that.
man. Yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah, it was good. I really liked it. You were totally psychotic. You played a perfect part.
I don't know. Thanks. I appreciate that
Yeah.
you thought that. I remember I watched it later and I'm like, oh, is that? I mean, I liked it, but I was like, all right, yeah.
You sat at the table. Um, I
Oh,
thought it
what?
was great.
Oh, you thought it was great? Oh, okay.
Are we still there? Are we flipping?
Oh no, you're just kind of.
Yeah. My favorite part. I'm cutting out.
No, it's like you're It's
I'm
like
good.
you start speaking and then it like catches up, but it's solved now. You
Right.
say what you were gonna say.
Right. My favorite part of your little short film was you at the table.
Yeah.
That was really psychotic, and I was like, "It does that well." So I showed it Joe's, and I was like, "Joe's, watch this," and she was like, "Oh, he's a bit good at that." And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I was wearing. I wore that little coat, and it made me feel like a fat ass because
Mhm. Oh no,
it was like barely fitting on me. I was like, oh man,
no,
I
you
feel
just
bad.
look like a proper psycho.
Yeah, I had like the little hat. It was good. But anyway, we're talking about mental health today because it was mental health month,
Hmm.
and then stuff kept coming up
Yeah,
because I had a lot of free time and I just filled it up with podcasting, and now we're here. It is June, but apparently it's Men's Mental Health Month in June. So
oh, okay. Well,
I
that's
just
very
learned that. I'm
important.
like, all right, I don't feel so bad. And he just recently did a video, which I was a part of, where he talked
You
about
was.
people's books that helped them through a hard time, which was
Yeah,
kind of hard to. I'll admit that one was kind of hard
yeah.
to pick, because
I struggled too with that. I've got to be honest.
I'm like, there's been a lot of books that have helped me through hard
Mm,
times. Like I can't just pick one, which is. I'll admit, I didn't even think of mortality until I was like when I mentioned it. Like I had just thought of it. Like, oh yeah, that book.
yeah,
That's a good one. I like that one
yeah,
a lot. I don't own
yeah.
either of them, unfortunately. I wish I owned A Great
I
Book
think
is
you're
Ever
about to.
released.
If I saw that correctly, I think you're about to.
Um, it's a phenomenal book. And also, I own a lot of C.S. Lewis's books. I have no
Mm.
excuse.
I'm pretty certain I heard a little birdie whisper on the comments there that you may well be about to.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, it's done well. That video done really well.
but I wanted to come here today. I didn't really have like any questions. It's just kind of
Hmm.
just hanging out and
Just have a
talking
chat,
about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how you feeling, D?
especially if it's mental health. It's like you know, a lot of men are stigmatized with this. Don't talk, just crack.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like yeah, like I didn't want to go like, what traumatized you, D? And I didn't want
yeah,
to do that.
that's a long story. That um,
But that's a good
what?
point. Yeah, men are
Yeah,
often like, suck it up, don't
yeah.
be a bitch.
Which really isn't fair because
we're
you know
we're
society
we're
shouldn't.
slowly getting out of that, but
Yeah, I mean, society as it was kind of pushing that stigmatism onto men. You know, years and years ago, it was a case of just suck it up, buttercup, and crack on. But where do you think suicide comes from if you're going to talk in that kind of capacity of men just shut up and carry on? You know, where do you think it's going to lead when they get into that point where they just cannot literally cope anymore?
It's like why
So,
do you think there's so many like books and films about
yeah.
dysfunctional men?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and,
And if it
and
was
even
there and
shows.
available,
There's even
yeah,
a
and if it was,
genre of shows now about
mm,
dysfunctional men. So I mean, there you go. Oh,
wake up.
it's my alarm for my work. But yes, yeah, that's a good point.
Mm,
that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation today because
yeah. If it
I
was just, if years ago it would have, obviously, we can say that if, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but it does need to be made prevalent more in schools, I think. We need to start in schools and sort of have more availability for mental health in schools so that it's not, there's not a shadow cast over it, that it's put out there and it's made a thing that you don't need to feel ashamed of. It's not a shameful thing. And if you do want to talk, you can talk, and there should be availability for that. And the best starting point is schools.
yeah, you know what I was saying earlier about we're slowly getting better, but
Mm,
at my school I remember I was in high school well not too long ago, but we did start kind of begin to be like, okay, mental health is actually a thing. It's
mm,
not just
yeah,
it's not just it's not just like I'm sad.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
my though a lot of it was like, here's what you do if you're feeling bad, and
Mm,
like we haven't really gotten to the okay, let's actually talk about it, which is
yeah.
what I'm
Well,
hoping we do here today.
I mean, we're taking our time, especially in the UK. Like my daughter, for instance, when she's talking to her sort of, not really a counselor, but she does talk to someone. And what they do in the UK, because of the national health system, is they only give you short spurts of time with a counselor, so on and so forth, or a coach. And it's only sort of 6 weeks. You only get maybe 6 weeks of it. And then it's up to you then.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of get that and then you're left in the lurch. So then it's up to you if you want to continue to search for it, but you may not have the funds to do that. We don't have, like in America, where you pay for your health insurance.
Mm.
We can pay privately, but because there's the National Health Service, we don't really do that. But I don't know if I believe that, you know, having counselling for mental health should really be a thing that's charged for.
I mean,
I think,
I guess I technically don't, but my insurance pays for it. But
yeah,
I pay for therapy. But yeah, I get
yeah,
what you mean. It's not easy, and it's also not easy to
no,
find the right person. It took me a couple
no,
times before I really kind of
yeah, found
found
someone that you
somebody. I'm
work with.
like, okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
jive with this person.
yeah.
Because like
I mean,
one
I,
guy I went to, he was all like, "Oh, we should get your family in on this," and I'm like, "No."
yeah, yeah, and that's very understandable not to
Which
sort
I
of,
mean, I mean, I'm not against the idea of family therapy, but I'm like, no, I want to
yeah.
figure my thing out before I get my parents involved.
Well, yeah, no, it's your thing, and that's your safe space to be able to talk how you want, and I completely understand that. That's for you then to open up as much as you want without feeling any guilt, any responsibility for anything that you say, because it goes no further than them four walls. So you have that time then to speak as openly as you want to. You bring the family in, and then that's kind of taken away from you because you feel like maybe I can't say this or maybe I can't say that, and sometimes it just needs to be you, and a lot of the time it just needs to be somebody who you don't know, so you
Hmm.
can open up properly. You can talk to your family, but because they're involved, there's sometimes that fear of hurting them or worrying them, so you don't. You close up and you shut up, and that's why I think it should just be quite a lot more readily available counselling, or even just somebody who has done some of the training and is just a coach, not necessarily a counsellor. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did want to ask you though. We started this conversation today. You,
Mhm.
so, well, I will say if there's some things you don't want to talk about, that's fine. But I know you. You're pretty much an open book, so you're probably going to talk about
Yeah.
it anyway. But I wanted to tell you to be sure.
Uh-huh.
But so like, I know you made a video a while back talking about some of your physical
Yep.
issues.
hmm
But what mental struggles have you had in your life?
Suicide. I've been suicidal.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. So as you know, we spoke about the abuse that I went through with my stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the main player of that was my mother. My mother's involvement in that. Not sort of so much the fact that it was my stepdad who was doing what he was doing. It was more that my mother knew about it and did nothing about it.
Mm.
And off the back of that, I was like 11, 12. So I remember um, the things that he used to do, and it obviously played mind games with me. Even at that age, I still kind of knew what was happening. It wasn't right. So I got my bed sheets and tied them all together, tied them to my radiator and put it round my neck. And I was going to do it, but then I backed away and I didn't do it. So I have to the extreme. Are we back?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, dog. So yeah, I have gone to those extremes. I did say hmm, maybe 14 years ago as well.
Oh.
Same kind of thing, but not suicidal thoughts again. So I do have mental health issues where if I get that far down,
Mm-hmm.
I do have the potential to end up in that. Are we back?
I can hear you. You're kind of pausing though a little bit. You're kind of frozen, but I can hear you.
I don't know if you can hear for me, Bryn.
No, I can hear you.
Ah, oh, there we go. We've caught up. Okay. Yeah, your picture's a little bit behind for me, but anyway. So yeah, that's where I've been. So, but the issue that I have is they've talked to me about giving me antidepressants, and even antidepressants can aid with the fibromyalgia that I have.
Mm.
But when I have tried them, they play havoc with my heart, with the heart condition that I have. So
Oh, jeez.
I
All
can't
right.
do that. So yeah, so I have to just ride it out. um, and along with that, there's the anxiety. I do get panic attacks, quite bad panic attacks, and on a
Mm.
couple of occasions I've been to hospital because of the panic attack because of the heart condition. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I have to just um, do it a day at a time. It has to just be a day at a time. I cannot get myself in any place where I think really any further ahead than that.
Yeah, that's fair. I was like, all right, we're jumping in. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I really I don't know. I have this kind of weird thing. I don't really like saying I have mental illness per se. Like I mean I don't think there's anything wrong with that,
Mm.
but I don't like saying it for myself. I don't know. Maybe it's like a weird. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'm like this, but
No, I
I
know, I get that.
I prefer saying I suffer through chronic psychic pain, and that's kind of how I like to
Okay.
describe it to people because it's not really
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's just something I deal with. It's not really like again I'm trying not to
Mhm.
demean people. I'm just talking about myself here. And I remember I was talking with Epic
No,
on.
no, you're not. Don't think that you are, because everybody's dealing with it in their own way. Everybody calls it what they feel is comfortable to call it. You don't have to call it mental health. You call it what is suitable for you to call it. That's your domain. Nobody gets to dictate that to you.
That's fair. Yeah, and I remember something Epic told me in a podcast I
Mhm.
recorded. I think it was actually last week. It wasn't too long ago. No, it was either last week or the week before last. Anyway, but I remember he made the analogy. He was like, it's like when if you do something too much, then you're not feeling too good. If you're not taking care of your like physical health enough, like you're not, you can't just go like, I'll be fine. Or it's the same thing with mental health. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point there,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, I also wanted
Mhm.
to have this conversation because May was
Yeah,
kind
and
of
he made good points on the video.
and May was an interesting month for me because like I had a slow reading month, but it was because just
Mhm.
some mental health stuff came up and wasn't fun. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's a little personal, but I'll just talk about it generally. But yeah, just
Mhm.
it wasn't fun, and and it reminds you that as much progress as you make, sometimes you just gotta kind of take it and as you move along.
Mhm. Well, it's up to you. If you don't want to talk about it, you don't talk about it.
Well, I mean, I'll just talk about it
I
generally,
don't
but
mind.
I don't want to talk
Mhm.
too much about it like specifically. But yes, it
Mhm.
happened, and I'm like,
Mhm.
we gotta talk about this. We gotta talk about. We're gonna do this discussion here today because I know you've had your trials and tribulations. And also, you made
Mm.
that video tag thing, whatever you want to call it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And also, I made my
It was just
autism video, and I'm like, oh god, I'll have to do something else like that at some point. And
yeah, it was good. Yeah, it
I
was
was
good.
originally gonna do it by myself, but then I'm like, hey D, you wanna talk about it? And you were like, yes. So here we are.
You know me. You know me. I'll be there like, what do you need from me? What story do you want? Because I've got them all.
That's fair. Yeah, it's yeah, and I also watched I don't know if you watched Tori Talks or if you know who she
No.
is. No.
I know who she is, but yeah.
But yeah, she made a video called or not a video, it was a stream. It was last night as of the recording of this video. Called
Right.
Mental Health and Physical Health in Fantasy, which I thought was really interesting.
Mhm. Right.
Um, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll bring that up in this video because like I don't know, I'm not a yeah. I mean, I don't have any. I don't have any physical ailments. I mean, I guess I have autism, but that's not really. It's
That
not really. Like
it doesn't really apply like that, does it?
no, not
I
really.
do. Mine comes part and parcel of the anxiety and the mental health issues. Fibromyalgia is a direct descendant, if you like, from mental health, anxiety, etc. So there may be quite a few people out there who that is the case for. They have the anxiety and therefore then they follow on with fibromyalgia, which is all over body pain. And they just go hand in hand with each other.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Mm.
I hope I don't get that. That would not be fun.
Well, it's not a given. It's not like, oh, well, if you've got mental health or anxiety or XYZ, you're going to get fibromyalgia. Obviously, there's elements included such as pain within your body. Um, and the job I used to do, that created the aches and pains to begin with. It's just that one goes hand in hand with the other when you're in that position to start with. And then I think sort of the anxiety, mental health, etc., aggravates and amplifies the pain, and then it can become fibromyalgia.
Mm. Okay. Yeah.
So it's more that kind of scenario.
I see. I mean, I don't know if that's happened, but I have certainly had physical like issues, not like
Right.
illness or anything or chronic pain or
Mm.
anything like that. But like I've gotten like headaches or I'll feel really sleepy. Well,
All right.
sometimes, yeah. Um, or
I don't know if that's maybe part of the Asperger's, is it?
maybe I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, my mom.
Maybe.
I remember my mom always is like, well, why don't you like research? 'Cause you're always wondering about all this stuff you're freaking out about. Like, why don't you look up stuff about autism? It'll probably explain a lot about what's going on. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I just I'm
Maybe you
believe it or
just don't
not,
want to be reminded of it.
as productive as I am, I'm really lazy. Like I'm not ashamed that I have autism. Though it
Well,
was
that is on the spectrum wheel there, Britain. That is part and parcel. My other daughter, who hasn't been diagnosed, but she's pretty certain she's got ADD,
hmm,
attention deficit disorder, but she has to get a minimum of 12 hours sleep. Has to. Because she just can't function if she doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not something I really. Though I'll
So I
admit
mean,
it was. I don't want to. I mean, because I talked to you about it, but it was kind of.
mm,
I don't want to say it was scary, but it was certainly nerve wracking doing that
mhm,
autism video because
yeah,
you know you're opening yourself up to like dozens of people on the internet, and they're
yeah,
like, "Ooh, what are you gonna do?" You know.
yeah. I know,
Um,
I know. That's why I said, that you were brave doing it because I know how much that took. It's not just
yeah, I know. I
you.
was
You
like,
don't have,
I
yeah,
know. After I recorded it, I was like, "Oh man, are people even gonna get this?" And it blew up. It's
yeah,
it's probably the most successful video I've had on my channel so far.
mhm.
So I mean, again,
Because
thank you
it
all for watching that.
yeah,
But
it was just you being you and being the most honest version of you that there is. So that just goes to show that any doubts or any thoughts you may have about yourself, don't have them because that success of that video literally showed you that there's no need for you to judge yourself.
that's true. And I mean, that's always something I've struggled with
Mm.
is being critical of myself.
Oh, I
Now,
know.
I don't think that. Now, I should note, I should back up and say that I don't think being self critical is always a bad thing. But again, moderation, people. I
Mhm.
was in my class. I was in my media law class the other day. My teacher was like, "Balance, everybody. If you do too much of one thing, you'll get really sick. If you do too little of one thing, you'll also get sick. But if
Yeah.
you balance yourself, you'll be fine."
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing with I think with self criticism. There's sometimes
Yeah.
it's
Find the
good,
happy medium.
but there's times that it's not. I don't
Mhm.
know how much TV you watch, but there's a show called um or I don't know if you have like Netflix over there in the UK.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, that's stupid. You probably do, but there's a show called BoJack Horseman. There's an episode where, but it's basically the whole episode is BoJack dealing with that destructive, self-critical voice in his head. It's
Mhm.
one of my favorite episodes of that show, and I deal with that all the time. And
Yeah.
I'm as you know,
Yep.
because I've
Yeah.
told you,
But
I'm
I
like,
do.
I don't know if this is gonna
Yeah.
go. I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go down. And you're like, You're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's what I
Well,
like
I
about you,
always
D.
say,
You're a
I always
cheerleader.
say to you, thank you, sweetheart. I always say to you, look, do what is good for you, and I say it to anyone. Do what is right for you. Don't feel pushed to do anything that is out of your comfort zone. Do what feels right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the happy medium. Only do what's going to make you feel good. Um, I was speaking to another friend who I've made on YouTube. I won't say the name, and they were talking to me about receiving nasty comments on
Well,
their video, and who this particular person is. That astounded me because I don't see where the nasty can come from with this particular person. So they were talking about how they don't feel like they've got maybe thick enough skin to do YouTube, and that kind of in a way makes me angry. I know there's the freedom of speech and that kind of thing, but what I don't understand
don't
is
always have to like that speech.
where in your mentality do you just decide that you're going to jump on and shoot somebody down? Why does that need to be a thing?
I've been kind of lucky in that regard. I don't think I've
Mm,
gotten a couple of like snarky comments in my well, mainly when I comment on other videos, I've gotten like snarky
mm,
comments. But like I've never gotten like a hate comment. I've gotten
yeah.
spam comments. I haven't gotten any hate
Well, they didn't
comments.
say hate; they just said nasty, and I
Or
just
I
thought,
haven't gotten any nasty ones yet.
mm, no, me either yet. But it's time.
Yeah, no, I Yeah, my dad's always like, well, don't be too, don't be too like don't listen to the criticism too much. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, I know, I know. It's,
yeah. Don't take it personal. They don't know you, so I mean, don't take it personal.
sometimes people don't. Sometimes people are just mean, is what I've realized. Which I
Yeah.
know, astounding revelation there, but it's true.
I still even today, I don't understand why. I just don't understand why. Why you'd wake up that day and think, do you know what? I'm going to post a really nasty comment today,
I
just because I feel like it.
I don't understand either. I mean, I guess there are channels of people I don't like, but I'm like, you know what? But at least I can sit down and be like, you know what? It's not gonna change anything if I say anything, so I'm
Yeah,
just gonna ignore it
yeah.
for now.
Just don't watch it. Don't entertain it. Because at the end of the day, if that person, I always think like this. I always try and put myself in the other person's shoes, and I think to myself, if I was this kind of person, and then I started getting that kind of hate, would I then go down? Would my self-esteem then drop to that point where I would be in that place, and the person, and I've done that to that person? Would I feel okay? Could I live with myself for doing that? Would I be okay doing that? And no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to make somebody else feel like that.
Yeah,
So,
it's this is kind of sad to say. Yeah, today I was at the court and I saw some
mm,
Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not a big fan of that religion, and
mm,
I'll admit I was kind of a dick to the lady
right,
who was running it. Yeah, I still don't like that religion, but now I kind of feel bad that I was kind of a dick to that lady.
mm.
So there you go.
Well,
Mm.
my advice would be tomorrow, if you have time, do something nice to somebody else.
Yeah,
Because I'm a big believer in karma. What goes around comes around. So
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
um,
yeah.
I like to make sure that my juju is good. I've got good juju going out there, and I reap what I sow. So if I see a homeless person and I've got money, they can have money, or I will take them. I'll get them food, and I don't ask questions. I'm not going to stand there for 10 minutes asking them what the money's for. I'll just give them the money. It's not my
Yeah.
place to judge. I don't know their
I can see
circumstances.
you doing that. You're definitely
Yeah, I do.
you're a very generous person.
Both my girls do as well.
I know. I'll be like, God, it'd be like midnight my time, and you're like up. I'm like,
Mm.
dude, because I have a couple friends who live in England. I have a friend named
Okay.
Tig who lives in London, and he
Hmm.
always like when it's about 3 a.m. my time, he's usually getting up, and you're up at like 12. So I'm like, what
Right.
time is it during that time? Like, what's going on here?
Oh, that would be 9 because we're 6 hours in front, so that would be 9 then. So that's kind of reasonable.
Huh. Anyway.
Yeah. But I'll get up at like 6, and you're still up, and I'm like, Britain, get some sleep, for God's sake.
Oh yeah.
Go to bed.
Yeah. We have said that before because like I'm like I usually I'm about to when we start talking. I'm like I'm about to
Go
go to
to bed.
sleep. No, but um um
But you tell me something that you can about a coping mechanism that you use.
coping mechanism. Oh man.
Mm.
I'm always like it's usually like through expression, like talking about it or writing about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
or
Yes, writing. You like to write poetry, don't you?
sometimes I'm again self-critical thing here, but I don't know if it's very good, but I feel better
Yes.
after I write it down.
You see, yeah. Well, that's a form of therapy.
Well,
That's
now I'm gonna get the comments. D. I'm gonna be like, "Ooh, you wrote poetry?
yeah.
Let's see it."
Yes, he does. He does write poetry. He does write poetry. Very moving poetry.
Yes. But
But he will release it as and when he is ready. If he's ready.
anyway.
I
Um,
too write poetry, but mine is
yes, you even wrote one.
right.
You
Mine
mentioned
is
me
more.
in it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah. Mine's more lyrical, rhymey
I can't do
kind of
rhyming.
poetry. I love it.
No, that's interesting. You know, it's an interesting thing about poetry because, like, you know, I have a hard time reading it, but I like listening to it
Yes, I agree.
because I feel you feel it more because
Mm-hmm.
it's like with music. I have a bit of a visceral react. Like, it's hard for me to go like, "Hey, Britton, why?" If someone asked me, "Hey, Britton, why do you like Radiohead?"
Mm-hmm.
It would be pretty impossible for me to explain it because I can't like. It's hard to like.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like it
It's a
connects
feeling.
with you on like a really deep emotional level. You can't explain
Mm-hmm.
to the point where you can't like intellectualize it. You know.
Yeah,
Same thing with
it's a
poetry.
feeling. It's not. Same with me. I will have moods for music. So if I'm in a particular mood, then that's the music that suits. But I couldn't explain it to you. I could tell you a memory relating to probably some music, but I can't explain it to you why it's that particular. I'll tell you something else that happens with me. Let's see if you're this kind of weirdo. Every day that I wake up with a song in my head. Every single day. Not always the same song.
That has happened to me.
It's just a random song and it's in my head and I don't know why.
Well,
And I would like that to be investigated.
I can't say that happens all the time, but that has happened to me. I'll wake up and I'll be like, this song's in my head today. Why?
Yeah, why
Don't
is
know.
that? I want to know. Anybody out there, if you know why that is, please tell us in the comments because I'm so curious as to what that is. It's happened to me for years. I don't remember my dreams anymore. I used to
Oh, I
quite
have
vividly.
weird ones.
Yeah,
Last night,
I
oh god, I don't even want to. It
yeah.
was a
No.
bit of a it was a bit on the saucy side. So
Oh, tell me after.
I won't talk about that here.
We'll talk off air. Off
This is a
air.
family friendly channel. Not really, but not really, but
Tell me
um
off air. I'm curious now.
no, yeah, but yeah, writing and talking and
Yeah.
I remember David Foster Wallace, the late writer, who unfortunately, ironically enough, as I bring this up, passed away. He took his own life, unfortunately.
Right.
He sometimes is like, you know, sometimes you just have to like hurt, and I'm like, you know what?
Yes.
Amen. There. I haven't read
Yeah.
Infinite Jest, but you got a point there. I've watched a lot of his
Yeah.
interviews because he was an interesting man. I thought.
Yeah. I think Darko on the video that we did, um, when he gave us his video clip, that one comment that he made, like living is hard. I thought you couldn't have put that into better terminology. That the dying bit's easy, it's the living that's hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're all
And
afraid
that
of dying, but yeah, living.
the
One could
living's
make
the
the
hardest
argument
thing.
living is even more scary.
Yeah, when you don't feel like anything's going your way. Exactly. And especially, trying to do that on your own. I can't imagine. I mean, I did for a short while because the girls were young. And I didn't really have an outlet. I kind of had my dad, but you don't want to burden anyone. So I did for quite some time. Just
I
don't
know,
go through
right?
a
That's
lot.
always frustrating. Your brain's always
Yeah.
like, oh, you're just gonna annoy him with your crap,
Yeah.
because they also
Yeah.
have crap that they deal with, and you're just like, man.
Yeah. I don't want to
Sometimes you're
pile
like,
on
shut
it.
up,
with
brain.
mine. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, it's
Well,
hard because, well, at least what I've dealt with, and I should note before I say anything, I do love my parents.
mhm.
So hopefully, they don't watch this and be like, are you talking shit about me on the internet? No.
Your mother is an absolute sweetheart, so no, we won't be having it.
Yes, she is. But it's sometimes hard talking with like your parents because like,
Mhm.
or at least it is with me. It's happened with me because like my parents are very like, we're gonna figure this out right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but
And I'm
that's
like,
a parental thing.
and I'm
Yeah.
all like, it's not really how this works. You know. Like
Mhm.
I remember I had this friend when I was younger, and to be honest, it's kind of where all this shit started, where I'm at now. So yeah,
Mm.
if he ever watches this, thanks. But
Ah.
anyway, Now it's not entirely his fault, but he didn't help matters.
Mm.
Yeah, and my parents are like, "Why are you still like?" Like I remember my mom and I were talking one night, and she just went, "Why? Like, why are you like?" It's like, "Why can't you just move on?" I'm like, "You can't move on from something like that." Well, what he did anyway, because
Yeah.
it was like in a platonic abusive relationship, pretty much.
Right.
Except like he didn't like hit me or anything. He was fucking crazy. He thought like, I'll tell you this. Um, I remember we went swimming one time, and well, this wasn't the first time he told me this, but he would say things like he thought he was like from a different dimension or something. He was out of his fucking mind. Like,
Oh, okay.
and like I'm just like, this guy's nuts. I hate to say that. That sounds really.
Was he was he maybe going through stuff himself at home,
He
or?
probably was.
Mm.
I don't know what it was. He never talked about it when we were friends, but he just I just oh man, I can't believe that
I
was
know what you're saying. I know what you're saying because.
he was just I don't think he was a bad person at heart. I think he just
Mm,
had a lot of demons. Um
yeah.
and I don't know if he knew how to deal with them in a healthy
Hmm.
way.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't. I've had friends where they've got very, very overly possessive with me, and
That was his
I
problem because like when
yeah.
I met him, he's 2 years older than me. So we met in a music class, and we just kind
Mm,
of hit it off because, like, I was the only one in there, and I didn't really jive with a lot of people over there, and
yeah.
choir. Let me tell you, never a dull day in choir, but a lot of the
Mm.
people in there, are not a fan. But and he was kind of this awkward loner type, and we kind of
Mm.
just hit it off, or kind of, we would just kind of hang out. And yeah, it's like you said, he was very I
Unhealthy
don't think he had a
attachment.
lot of friends, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
And I
And
think
that
when
is,
someone actually, and I think about this now, I think when he finally had a friend, he didn't want to let go,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. It's
which ironically drives people away. Like I thought, like I'll be very candid here. There were points I thought he might kill me. Like it was
yeah,
bad. It was really bad.
yeah.
And I mean, I don't like to use the word trauma lightly, but
Hmm.
I will say I don't really like using the term trauma in general, but that definitely left some scars for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah,
Because I've known, like, it affects how I make friendships. It affects how I talk with people. It affects how
yeah.
I have a harder time opening up to people. Because it's and
So
not
so
because
it's that
I
trust,
mean
that trust factor.
I wasn't like spilling dark secrets to him or anything, but more
Yeah,
just like receptiveness. That kind of
yeah,
openness. Because I didn't want to run into a fucking crazy again. Again,
yeah. I know what you
I
mean.
don't want to say that. I know I probably sound really. I know that sounds bad, but it might
But
sound good.
you would have been young, so that's potentially how you would have seen that if you were young. Now being older, you know that that's potentially got something behind it. He weren't behaving like that for no reason. There was probably something else to why he was behaving like that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Um,
hindsight's a hell of a thing for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and there's, I
But
mean,
we're all just human, Britain. We're all only human, and we can only learn by life as we go through it. There's no rules. There's no this is how you do it. We don't get any of that. We learn by how we go, and we will make mistakes.
and to be honest, I have no idea what the hell he's doing now, but
Yeah,
um,
he
well,
may well be a completely different person now.
maybe
Completely
I don't
different.
know, but he had some issues, we'll say.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I was a teaching assistant, and you was always told to watch out for the kids, watch the behaviour. If you feel like there's anything untoward, report it. And I had some incidences where I the kid was just talking to me, and they turned around and told me that I think in that age group they were maybe 5 or 6, and they turned around to me and said that the mum had allowed them to have a drink,
How
and I
old
was
were these
like,
kids?
about 5 or 6.
A drink
Yeah,
already?
a drink,
Jesus.
and I had to. The kid was saying to me, "Can I tell you this as a secret?" And I said, We're not allowed to have secrets. I have to tell somebody what you tell me. It can't be like that, but you won't get into trouble." Because it's part of, what you have to do as a TA. You're not allowed to keep information that could potentially put a child in danger a secret.
Mm-hmm.
So I then had to go and tell the teachers above me what I'd just been told, which wasn't the best. It didn't feel great because a child wants to confide in you, and your maternal instincts are okay, but you can't do that in that setting. You've got to sort of protect that child because they're innocently telling you something that to them could seem quite fun, but the reality of it is it might not be fun. It might be more to it than that. So, it's things like, I think what I'm trying to get at there is me being in that environment, that working environment, opened up to me that there may not be such a thing as a naughty child. It may be that there is things going on at home that are not prevalent to people outside of that home, and you sometimes have to think beyond your own reasoning to be like, do you know what? Let me take a step back a minute, and this might be something else. So rather than jump in feet first and be like, well, you're just a naughty kid, or you're just a horrible person, there could be more to it than that. There could be other stuff going on, and just always remember that before you.
Yeah, sure. I
Yeah.
mean that I again, he didn't really. Going back to my friend here, well, my former friend. I haven't
Mm.
talked to him in like 10 years, and I don't want to talk to him to be honest, because I
Yeah,
don't know what I would say
that's
to him.
fair. Well, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you've
I don't
got
really think there's much to say, you know.
you've got scars from that experience. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
probably best for you to be in that position to stay away
you
for
know,
your own
it's
sanity.
yeah, there's a lot of there's also I got well, for one, I got bullied when I was a kid, and then that happened, and that just made it worse. So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
my childhood was mostly good, but that wasn't fun. It wasn't
Mhm.
fun to deal with.
Yeah. No, bullying is never fun.
No.
Never fun. And that is definitely a starting point for having mental health issues massively if
Yeah,
it doesn't get resolved.
I mean, with that situation, I remember there was a I mean the bomb threat. It wasn't really a bomb threat because like man, we didn't really take it that seriously, but a bunch of people left because they're like, oh well, bomb threat, I'm out of here, because
Mm.
that's what we do.
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
That's what kids do. And I ended up learning later that it was him who like called it in. That messed with me for a
Oh,
while.
okay.
So yeah, hearing that I didn't learn
Mm.
that till a few years after that. So that wasn't
Right.
fun.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, sometimes I think, yeah, yeah, there clearly was something wrong there, weren't there?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
um, I mean I can talk more about it now, but it's just I don't like thinking about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I'm so beyond my traumas, if you want to call them that, it doesn't affect me in the slightest to talk about them. And hopefully others will feel that way too eventually, that, they can openly talk about whatever it is, PTSD wise, trauma wise, because, um, it is kind of a realization to know that it wasn't you. So you don't have to feel any shame in it. There's no shame in it because it wasn't you. So I openly talk about anything and everything because I'm past it now. I'm at the point where, yeah, it happened. Yes, loads of stuff happened, but you know, I've been quite battered throughout my existence, really, with shit. And not necessarily nice times. There's been a few nice times, but more nonsense than anything, really. So it
Yeah.
hardens you. You know, it's going to harden you. But at the same time as it hardens me, it also makes me a much more caring person.
Yeah, I believe it or not, I actually have considered like being a professor or teacher or something like that. But
Okay.
I've be honest though, I don't know if I want to go through all that schooling though just to do it. But I've
Mm.
thought about it over the years, and I don't. I'll put it this way: there's a lot of issues with our school system out here, in not just Oklahoma, in America.
Yeah.
And I remember I talked with a friend of mine who was a former teacher of mine, but now we've become good friends. And I remember we had a conversation about being a teacher. He's like, there's a lot of issues in the public education system. I hate to tell you this, but you're probably still going to deal with those things that bothered you when you were a student when you become a teacher. So you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But going back
Yeah, it's not
to,
great here.
yeah, but going, I, I guess it's this one thing I've heard. Hurt people hurt people. I'm sure you've heard this before.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I've thought about that, and I just think about what happened to me, and I just think, I, when I got bullied, when that thing happened with my friend I just told you about, I I made a note to myself. I'm like, I never want anyone to feel like I just felt right
Mhm.
here, right now. So I mean, I guess I know there's a lot of nature nurture things, but I don't know how people don't get that on some level.
Yeah.
And it might sound a little selfish when you put it like that. You're like, wow, that felt bad. I don't want that happening to me. If I don't want that happening to someone else.
Mhm.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
not. I think that's just empathy.
Well, yeah, it's empathy without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I would say the same. I don't want anyone to go through what I've been through at all. Um, but unfortunately, I don't have that magic wand to stop that. But what I can do is I can certainly understand somebody who's going through something similar, or I will have probably experienced something such as your bullying, or um, my dog's being very musical at the moment, clanging a balls.
I thought I saw him running around. I
Yeah,
think
she's
I can
here.
see him. I see her now.
What she doesn't eat in the kitchen, or her biscuits. What she does is she comes in and out with a mouthful. She's the strangest dog ever. She'll eat a food in there, a wet food. When it comes to her biscuits, mouthful in the front room, eats it, then goes back for another mouthful. She's crazy.
Dogs are weird.
She's crazy. She's cute but crazy. Um, but yeah, there isn't much I haven't experienced. So over the years, I have been sort of an ear for people to talk to, because I generally know where you're coming from, and
Yeah.
I just don't sit in judgment, because I
Yeah,
just don't.
that's always the hard thing about talking about mental health or anything regarding that is you don't want to be judged by people.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because like, what's the first thing you think of? At least in my head, it's happened. It's like, well, there's people who've had it worse than you, so why are you being all? Which I know on a rational level is stupid.
Yeah.
I remember something Kevin Smith said. He's like, look, it doesn't matter what happened. Trauma is still trauma, is what he said once. And
Yep.
I'm like,
And it's yours.
yes, Kevin Smith, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's very true. Very true. It
your
really doesn't
brain is
matter.
not always a rational thing.
No, that's true. But to downplay something that you're going through because somebody else might be going through something worse. Well, yes, that's a reality, but another reality to that statement is, but that's what you're going through. So yes, you can say, well, somebody else is going through worse than me. Yeah, but at this moment in time, this is what you're going through. So let's acknowledge that. Let's not downplay it and say, well, because it doesn't step up to the standard of that, then it's not worthy to take notice of. No, no, no. You're going through this, so let's deal with this. So it doesn't make it any less of a thing than the other person's, because you're going through it.
Yeah. Well, I do have a question for you, though, and I'm curious
Yeah.
to hear your thoughts about. What's something about the conversation, whether it be where you're from or around the world, that frustrates
Yeah.
you about the discussion about mental health with people?
That frustrates me.
Yeah. That just kind of grinds your gears when, like, you see people, you know, because I do have a few, but I don't know about you. You seem more at peace with yourself than I am.
Oh, very much so.
I'm the more angry, contentious one of our duo.
Yeah, but I used to be that. I used to be that.
It's like,
Very
we
much
should
so
do
did
this
I.
more. Dang it.
Very much so did I used to be that. My girls will absolutely guarantee the stories I've told them. They're like, yeah, weren't a very nice person. I think the one thing that annoys me the most, and it's not from mental health people, it's from people judging mental health, which is, especially when it's trauma related, when they judge how a person acts from trauma. And that is labelled, or it can't be labelled. You can't say, well, that's not the way to behave. How would you know? How would you know what's the way to behave unless you've experienced trauma yourself? And then again, my argument to that is, well, I'm sorry, but every individual's release of trauma is their own. They're not all going to be the same. So I'm sorry to disappoint you, but everybody's trauma expel is their own, and it can't be, oh, well, I've seen somebody behave this way from trauma. Okay, well, that was their way. That doesn't mean that this way is wrong. So I don't like that when I've heard people tag what the reaction to trauma should be. It will come out how it comes out.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I guess what frustrates me when I kind of hear about the sort of national conversation, or whatever you want to call it, is it almost feels like it's like people do like half measures when, like, I don't know if this is how I don't know if you've dealt with similar things out in the UK, but I know when I you know, it feels like they like want to bring it up, but they don't actually want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, there is quite a bit of that.
It's like when you're like having a conversation, you're like dancing around something.
Yeah.
It's like that. That kind of frustrates me.
Yeah, and another one I don't like, and it's got nothing to do with that, but it's when you as a person maybe seek somebody to talk to, and you've got that friend, and you think, I can talk to this person, and you set off, and then they start, oh, well, yeah, I did that, and and they don't give you the opportunity to be heard. And that's literally what this is about. It's like, I came to you for that, and you kind of made it about you now, so now I don't feel like I want to talk to you.
Oh, yeah, that's
kind of one that's frustrated me over the years.
Yeah, right. That's funny you say that. Or, well, I guess not funny, but just kind of interesting you say that. It reminds me of I have a friend named Alan who I talk to on Goodreads, and we message back and forth. It's correspondence, if you will. And I remember he talked about his sister once, and he's like, you know, I realized that she just likes talking at me.
Yeah. Not to you, at you.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, there's people like that.
Yeah.
They're like, I've known people like that. And and you know, I mean, you know, there's some people who have done this who I care about, you know, and I just realized I just listened to them.
Yeah, sometimes people don't want an opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just want a set of ears. They don't want an opinion. They just want a set of ears.
Yeah.
They don't need to hear anything sometimes.
I'm sure I've been guilty of this too, but
yeah, I have, without a doubt. I have.
So, I think it's a human thing.
Absolutely. This is why I say we're not robots. you know, and we have to be to some extent forgiving of each other because we're just not robots. We work on emotions. So I mean, you know, and some of us are able to switch those emotions off. Should we envy that? Should we envy the fact that you can switch your emotions off? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's an enviable quality that I'd want to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I mean, it's
There's
interesting.
times when I think I would, but yeah, I'm not sure.
There's some. What's interesting about having autism is that like you feel emotion differently from other people.
Hmm.
Because like I see
Yeah.
on TV a lot of the time, like they're very like people with autism, and I mean I know it's not really a like I know it's not like meant to be like true, but like a lot of them are kind of like these like very stoic, you know, not robotic, but just kind of just very stoic and just kind of like um socially inept, I will say.
Mm.
Which that definitely can be the case. I'm not saying it's not, but like we feel emotion, or well, at least I can.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for the rest of the autistic community, but
Hmm.
we can feel it. Like we can feel emotions. It's
Yeah.
just
It
not
might
like
not
other
be that you
people.
can't feel it. It might be how you express it.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. That might be what's different, but
Yeah, like there's
that doesn't mean it's not in you.
yeah, like sometimes there's there's been moments in my life where I sometimes I'm like, I maybe should have had more of a reaction to this, but like, it's just,
Mm.
and I'm like, maybe that's autism. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's the Asperger's. Yeah. I don't think you should give yourself a hard time over that. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
Because
and
I think Alan said the same thing, didn't he, about his wife? And he said it can look as if, you know, he doesn't
I've
care.
even,
But
I mean, I've even seen some people who've compared autism to sociopathy, which is ridiculous.
oh, really?
Which is
Okay.
ridiculous because, again, not speaking for everybody, but as far as I know, we can feel emotion. I
Mm. So you're supposed to be a bit of a sociopath, are you?
don't know.
Well, he was on that video.
I don't
But I think he was meant to be. So
know. But yeah,
so
it's
what if you could change something? Would you change?
it's so many, so many.
Well, pick
Um,
something that's important to you that relates to you.
I I've gotten better at this since I've started this booktube podcasting thing that I've got going on here.
Yeah.
But I wish I was more confident in myself.
Yeah.
Oh, again, I'm getting better at it because like
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm like sending. My God, I got so many people I've asked to come on the podcast. I was and for like when I first started, I was agonizing over it. I'm like, oh man, are they gonna
Mm.
like want to talk to me? And most of them do. Most of them are pretty nice for the most part. And if they don't, and if they say no, well, you just wasted 5 minutes. It's fine.
That's a great outlook.
Though, though I'll admit, like, because I'll admit, I can sometimes get carried away with asking people, and it's kind of like a grind thing.
Mm.
And when someone's like, oh no, I can't do it this week, I'm like, oh man, I can't. Oh, it's just,
Yeah.
you're throwing off my rhythm.
Yeah, I can see how that would be the case.
Yeah, like I recorded episode 49 of Britain's Hanging Out because 50 was gonna be a live stream, and the guy I
Right.
was gonna get, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it. And then like the last day, he says his wife gets sick, and he's like he can't do
Right.
it, and I was like, dang it. And then I got and
No.
then I got my friend Jason Furman. God bless that man.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
I've seen Jason.
he did it. So we went on and talked for like 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, all right. And then I
Yeah.
did that. So there we go. Anyway, back to the mental health. It's a thing. And I've noticed a lot of people. I remember I talked to Matt on books, and he's like, I think a lot of us on BookTube are neurodivergent, or is that the right term?
Yeah,
Neurodivergent?
neurodivergent. Yeah, yeah,
Neurodivergent in some way. And I'm like, you know
yeah. I
what?
think so.
Yeah. Because, I've been seeing a lot more YouTubers talk about mental health related stuff,
Yeah,
like Matt. And I saw Alan's stream he did about autism, which inspired me to do my video about autism. So,
yeah.
Alan, thank you for that. Um, I don't know if he saw it. He's kind of in his hidey hole at the moment.
Yeah, he's on baby duty, isn't
Oh yeah, that's right. He had a
he? Yeah,
kid, didn't he? Oh, that's.
yeah.
I'm gonna get hate comments after that. Oh.
No, no.
No, I've watched Alan. I'm like, oh god, is that gonna be me when I'm 40? Is that who I'm gonna be?
Potentially.
Maybe. Not bad
It's not a
though.
bad thing.
It's not a bad
No.
gig, I guess. He's doing pretty well for himself. Got a little community, and he's got a kid.
It's got a huge community.
Yeah, I
Huge.
know. I'm like, man, how do you do that? And
I don't know.
another like insecurity of myself is like when I'll put out videos and like and people want and like my thing like I don't really care about like likes or anything like that, but at the same time like I want people to watch them, you know. So
Well, that's what we do it for, isn't it?
I
For them
like
to be
people
what?
to engage with the videos, and when I don't
Yeah,
see a
yeah.
lot of engagement, I get kind of sad. I'm like, dang it, I worked on this, but I know
Yeah.
there's a bunch of booktube like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's just a natural emotion. I feel the same. Exactly the same. If one of my videos goes up and it doesn't get many views, I don't necessarily take it personally, but I think, oh, wonder why.
It's a good way to
Hmm.
it's a good way to
And
put
then
it.
to a certain extent, I might start analysing it then. Like, did I do something wrong? Did I not smile enough? Did I come across
Well, I mean,
weird?
I've said it before, and well, I'll probably keep saying it. I'm not the sexiest YouTuber. Like I don't talk about like
Oh, well,
the
I am, so I don't know what's happening there.
like I don't talk about like the like sexy Sanderson books, and I'm okay with that. Like I got my little niche, I got my little cult following, and I love all of them. I'm glad
Well,
that
that's
you
what's cool
have
about your
taken
channel,
the
Britain.
time to come to
That's
my
what's cool
channel
about
and
it.
see what I'm
Is
doing.
you come up with these like out there books. Like, I'm sorry, who now? Who
I
is
know,
that?
yeah. Just
And then
it's funny.
curiosity gets the better of me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I've got to read one of these. I've got to read one,
I was talking
like I
to
just recently did.
I was talking to a friend of mine named Helena the other day, and she's like, "God, I'm always on Goodreads, and like every like weird book I've come on, you've added it onto your list of like one to read." I'm like, I I'm I'm a bit on. I want to consume as many stories as possible.
I think that's just part of your character. Is
Yeah,
you are not a sheep. You're a shepherd,
yeah.
and
Like
you
I'm
like to be the oddball. You like to be the one who's, I'm not following the crowd. I'm going to read this. And
yeah, exactly.
I'm a bit like that. I'm like, oh, is everybody reading that? Yeah, well, I'm not going to then.
I was a little sad when you didn't like First Law, because that is a
No,
popular series that I really
I
love.
know, but no,
You didn't like Lockda? You didn't even like Lockda?
no.
No.
The only character I liked was Glockter's albino bodyguard,
Oh my god.
and he just
The one with
didn't get.
the great handwriting.
Yeah, because there was the only thing I laughed at was right at the beginning, and it was between Glockter and the bodyguard, the albino one, and that actually made me chuckle. And I thought, well, I see what people are saying as how it's funny, and then I kept going and kept going. I'm like, where's the humour? I've not found any of this funny. Where's the humour? I don't understand.
It's
Am I the odd one out?
I mean with
Am I just not
it
getting
kind
it?
of shocks me. It kind of shocks me that Abercrombie didn't get to you, because he's very like
Mm.
crosses the line twice kind of humor, where it's like really kind of offensive, but you just can't help but
No.
laugh at the absurdity of it. Because a lot of what makes First Law funny is the really messed up stuff, like just
Yeah,
how
no.
Glockta, is just like, oh, yep, back to torturing.
But even
It's
that, even the torture scene where
well,
I
no,
found it.
it's not the torture in and of it's how
Yeah,
he reacts to the torture. He's just
yeah, and
like,
I
yeah,
found
it's
it a bit
another day.
lame. I was a bit, yeah, I thought it was a bit lame. I was like, oof, right, okay. I thought this is supposed to be grim dark. What's grim dark about it?
I mean, it's not a fun series. It's I don't want to live.
I just,
I'm like
bearing in mind
I
though.
don't want to live in the first law universe.
No, no, it wouldn't bother me. Um, I've only read the first one, so I mean, to be fair, it's meant to be like an entire story, isn't it? It's like one long story, just in 3 sections. So I mean, I'm just making a judgment on book one, the Blade itself. So ignore my thoughts. It just was. It just wasn't for me. I don't think. I don't think my opinion would change if I carried on.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you don't if you're not sucked in by the blade itself,
No.
you're just done.
Yeah, that's my theory. If you read the first book of a series and you're not sucked in on that one, I don't really think you should carry on because what's going to change really? That's where you meet your characters. That's where you get the introductions. So yes, it's the sort of the prologue, if you like, to the series. But if you don't get along with the prologue, are you going to enjoy the series? Probably not. So
I don't know. I'll just say, speaking from my experience, I read the first book in like the first like paragraph I was in. So I don't know.
right,
Maybe
yeah,
it's
no,
just a
that didn't happen.
that
That
didn't
didn't
happen
happen.
for you. All right. You're
No,
probably not gonna like the series then.
all I kept feeling, Britain, reading that was, oh my god, if I have to read another internal monologue from Glockter, I think I might just.
You're just
And that's like
you're
it was
just
making me feel.
you're just torching the first law fan
Yeah,
base.
I know. I'm sorry,
I'm
but
getting the we're gonna get
that's
the
my
hate.
feelings,
Now I'm
though.
gonna get the
Mine.
hate comments, D.
Yeah, I'll get them. Send them to my channel. It's fine. I'm
Nah,
sorry.
I'm sure most people will be like, I'm sure the reaction will be more like, "Oh man, D, I thought you were really gonna like it."
Yeah, so did I, but that really did. That really is the element that spoiled it for me. Is what everybody finds funny. I found really monotonous as to how much it was used. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just missing something. But a constant internal monologue of Glockter just started to grate on me, and I just wanted a gap from it. I wanted one scene with Glockter where there was no internal monologue, so it could
Well, I
just be a
mean, I think
surprise.
well that's kind of what I think makes that book really that's about to say that's why I hate
Yeah,
to I hate to kind of flip that, but that's the reason
no,
I
that's
really
fine.
that's one of the reasons I really like that series is
That's what everybody
because
likes about it. Everybody loves the
and
internal monologue with
also
Glockter.
it makes sense because that's his world, you know.
Yeah, but to me, I just found it irritating.
Yeah, that's fine, you know. I mean, now if he went like, oh, First Law is like objectively bad, well, I would probably have a problem with that. But you know,
Oh no, no,
you're more like it's not for you. That's fine, you
no.
know.
The
I can't.
story in itself wasn't bad. I won't say that. The
It just
story
wasn't
was
for you.
not bad.
That's fine.
What that one character, the way it was done like that,
That's fine.
just didn't suit my taste.
Did you not like it because you go through physical pain?
Oh no, no,
No. Oh, okay.
no, not at all. No,
Oh, okay.
I actually really liked the characters. What's he called? The other main character.
Well, there's Glockta, and then there's
Uh,
Jazal, who's the
no,
elite
the
guy, and then there's Logan Nine Fingers.
Logan Nine Fingers. I thought he was a great character. I really liked him, and I liked the little relationship that was happening between him and the mage. That was a really interesting part of the story for me. So it's like I said,
I
the
would say
only
wait and
thing
see, but again, from what you've told me about the blade
I know.
itself, yeah, again, if you're not sucked in by blade itself,
Yeah,
give up. You're not getting anywhere with it.
I'm not bothered. I'm not
As
bothered.
sad as it is for me to say, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not rubbish. That would be a lie to say that it's not. Logan Nine Fingers, the girl, I can't remember her name, but I thought she was an up and coming great character. Um, I was going to say Felicin, but I don't think that's her name.
Thinking of Malazan, isn't there a
Yeah, I'm
character
thinking
named
of Malazan.
Fella?
See, Malazan's just imprinted now. That's it. Everything's
Isn't there a
Malazan.
character named Fellison in Malazan?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know who I mean? The female character. I thought she was great.
Well, which one? There's
But
Pharaoh, and
in
then
Blade
there's
itself, not the sister.
oh Pharaoh, yeah.
Yeah, see, I was right with an F. Um, I thought she was great. I wanted more of her. I thought she was a fantastic character. And I kept reading because of Nine Fingers and her. I wanted to see how that was panning out. But yeah, just that constant inner monologue, it just didn't suit my taste.
All right. I mean, that's fine. I'm sad that you didn't like it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That does bring me to since we are a bookish channel we are bookish
Are we?
channels. I almost said channel because we're not. But like, what are some books that you've read where you felt like that really felt to you that it explored trauma in a really like where you like, and this might be a little too specific, but like when you set the book down, you're like, damn, that was great.
Kindred.
Yeah, I've that is my favorite book that I've read
Yeah.
so far this year. So yeah, I would agree with you on that. Yeah, it's a great book.
One I'm currently reading now with Darko and Alicia called The Invisible Man.
I've always wanted to read that.
Oh, get reading it.
I've had
Do you have it?
several friends, and I mean, if you like that, I would definitely recommend James Baldwin. Giovanni's wrote. It's an excellent book. But
Yeah,
anyway,
Invisible Man is what am I 6 chapters in? It's so good. It's very you'll love it. Have you read it? No.
He is also from my home state, Ralph Ellison.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I hope you guys bring that up if you talk about it.
I've got it in my notes.
You better shout it out.
I've already researched it. I'm already well aware. I also know that he served in World War II as a cook for the Marines.
But anyway, you can. What are some other books you were like, man, that was good?
Regarding trauma, Hidden Pictures.
I don't think I've read that one.
Jason Reculek, what John showed on the.
Oh, I was about to say, isn't that the one John got?
Yeah.
I haven't read that.
Well, that relates to trauma. The Book Thief.
Ah, it's a great book.
Yeah.
I think I turned you on to that one, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
That is a phenomenal book.
Yeah, it's a great book.
It's one of my favorite young adult books.
Is that a YA?
Yeah. Or technically it is, but I think calling it YA is too simple.
Yeah, that's full on for YA.
It's heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah, I don't know what 17-year-old's meant to be like. That was a great read. Reading about all them Jewish people. Yeah, that was great.
Well,
that in itself would create trauma. Anything else? Ooh. Probably. Maybe I just can't think of it right now. Can't think of anything else.
Yeah, that's fair.
What about you?
I mean, there's a couple books I could bring up. Mystic River by Dennis Lehane is phenomenal.
Gone to See the Riverman.
Oh yeah, Gone to See the Riverman as well. That's I love that book.
Yeah, that's got trauma in it.
That's one where I'm like, it's like if I were in person, I'd grab that book and I'd like throw it at somebody and be like, read it, like right now. And it's a phenomenal book. That is also about trauma. I forgot all about that book. There's also shows. It's interesting because like there's a lot of I guess. Well, Black Leopard, Red Wolf as well. That also talks a lot about trauma in that book.
I'm sorry, what book is that again?
Black Leopard, Red Wolf, the African fantasy novel.
No, have you read that?
Oh man, it's one of my favorite fantasy novels.
Is it?
Yes.
I'm going to get that just because of how clearly in love with it you are.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm going to get it just to see what the Britain hype is all about.
I think I also talk about it a lot because I barely see anyone else do it. So
that's very true.
I'm gonna have to take the torch here, guys. Like we're gonna have to.
I'm gonna have to join the club. I want to be in the
No,
Black
but
Wolf and Red Wolf Club.
oh, it's another book. Um, it's a comic, but Watchmen really explores
Oh, okay.
trauma, particularly with the character Rorschach, which I think is
Hmm.
really, really. It's one of the greatest comics ever written. I think.
So does X-Men, I suppose, in a way, with Rogue.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Well,
Mm.
again, when it's written really well. Yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, what else? What else? I would say Kindred because yeah, that was great. I love
Yeah,
that book, and so I'm glad Darko and I read that.
yeah, that is a great book.
And then Darko made the video about it. Love that man. Um, what's another book? Let me see if I got any back here to talk about. Like there's some like shows like The Sopranos, for instance,
Hmm. Yeah,
is one of the best takes on like trauma that I've ever seen. Even though it's like a gangster show, like I
yeah,
love that show. And like BoJack Horseman, what I mentioned earlier, that's another one
yeah.
where like oh my god, like so good. I bet there's other books I could bring up, but I can't think of them at the moment. But those are just
Yeah,
some.
I can't think of anything else. Those are a
There's
few I can't
some
think
that I
of.
think are that it captures that cathartic feeling where you're like, I'm not alone. There's other
Yeah,
people who've thought like this and felt like this before. It's very
yeah.
reassuring, believe it or not.
It's a very real thing, though, trauma, and there aren't many people who haven't experienced it.
Well, yeah.
I think it's quite a rarity if you haven't, because trauma can be defined as anything, really. So, I mean, to not have experienced trauma is much more of a surprising thing,
Oh,
I think, now than.
I bet Jason will appreciate me bringing this one up. My friend Jason, Tender is the Flesh, explores
Oh,
trauma.
I want to read that.
I think you would like it. It's pretty twisted.
Yeah, it's about cannibalism, isn't it?
It's pretty depraved.
It's right up my street.
Yeah, I know. I was reading it and I told Jason, I'm like, Jesus, man. I will say though, the ending is a little like,
Is it off?
no, it'll take you off guard. I'll put it that way. It'll take you off guard.
Oh,
But aside from
oh,
that,
good.
it's a fantastic book. What?
Is it a good off guard though?
I'll just say, I'll just say, read it and
Right.
tell me what you think.
Okay. Yeah, I really, really want to get that one. I don't even have it. I really want to have it.
But yeah, that one was really good. Yeah. I didn't think of it's there's probably a lot of other book, and if anyone
Mm.
wants, if anyone's gotten here, if you want to bring up books or stuff that is about trauma, tell me in the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah, that'd be
I'll
cool.
read them.
Be interesting.
I'll read them. Or well, eventually. I don't know if I'll ever get to them because
I've probably actually got a few books sat here that I haven't read as yet that are about trauma. Probably loads, honestly, to be fair, in these piles and piles of books.
Killer Inside Me is also about, well, kind of. It's
Mm.
kind of like the proto-American Psycho in a lot of ways,
Oh, okay.
except it's about a small town sheriff who's a depraved maniac and not a Wall Street guy who's a depraved maniac.
Right.
That was a really good book though. That was another one that like kind of caught me off guard, but in like a good way, Very
Killer
like,
Inside Me.
what? The killer?
Killer
Yeah,
Inside Me.
I'll get it. Real
Ah.
quick, it's over here, someplace. Oh, there it is. Yep, right here. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I wouldn't recommend reading the foreword of the book till after, because Stephen King spoils some stuff. But
Right.
yeah, if you get that copy
Oh,
anyway.
is it a Stephen King recommendation?
Oh yeah, he does the foreword to that book.
See, anything Stephen King
Oh yeah,
recommends?
Stephen King. He's written about trauma exceptionally. Like It is
Carrie?
exceptional. Carrie, yeah. The Shining.
That is a great book. Yeah,
Shining
The
and
Shining.
Doctor Sleep too. Like that was an underrated book.
Yeah, yeah. I liked the film version of that as well with Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, that's one me and some friend I don't know. But yeah, Stephen King's written a lot about trauma. He's really good at that.
Yeah, Carrie's great for that. And I quite like. Is it Christine? Got that right?
I haven't read that. You know what's funny? You know,
Is it Christine?
I've put up with a lot from Stephen King over the years. I'm like, okay, you know, there's some wacky concepts you've had
Yeah.
where I'm like, I'm like, okay, Stephen, okay, Uncle Stevie, I'll deal with this. Just because you wrote it, I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But a haunted car, I don't know why, I just cannot do it. Maybe someday I will, because I've had some friends who I really like, you know, and you really enjoy it. It seems, who really like it. So I'm definitely not against reading it. It's just like that idea of a creepy car. I'm just like, look, cars are already dangerous as it is, you know.
Well, it's only kind of like the idea of dolls coming to life, isn't it? It's not much different than that, really. That's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
I'll be right back real quick. I have to answer this. I'll probably cut this part out of the video. Give me a sec.
Okay, no worries.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. My mother called me.
Oh?
Well, ladies, gentlemen, and others, because, you know, that's the society we live in now.
Joe's has just given through a few books. He said Almond. It.
It is phenomenal. I don't care what people are like. Oh, it's too long.
It.
I don't care. That's a great book.
It is
very readable for how long it is. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some weird stuff in there.
She's saying Batman.
There's some weird stuff. But
in it,
there's some weird shit in there. But aside from that kind of weird, icky stuff, it's a phenomenal book.
It's a great book. Not only is it a coming of age book, but it's also a book about loyalty.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Yeah, great.
No, me and Colin already discussed our thoughts on it, so we'll link that down below if you want to watch that.
Yeah, link it.
Yeah. This is before I got this really new, great mic I have now, so my audio might not be as great, but I enjoyed doing that video.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Stephen King writes about trauma really, really well. Yeah, that's excuse me. Not really much else I can think of. I'm sure I'll be like sitting later and be like, damn it, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
book.
I'll do that.
That's inevitable.
I'm staring at my piles now, thinking, is there anything I can see?
Well, another comic I can bring up is Deadly Class. That deals with trauma.
Oh.
Really, I think how they deal with trauma is really well done. And Rick Remender deals with trauma really well in that. But I love that comic book series. So
yeah, I mean Malazan deals with it.
Also, another comic that I'm remembering all of a sudden, Roughneck by Jeff Lemire. Phenomenal. One of his best, I think. But I'm a big Jeff Lemire stan. So I'm sure if the people who watch my comic book videos like, oh my God, Britain, Jeff Lemire, we get it, you love him. But he's so good. He's so good. Like, you guys should read him. He's phenomenal. He's so good. But
Jeff Lemire.
Jeff Lemire. Lemire. Or Lemire. I don't know how to freaking pronounce it. I'm not Canadian. But I think it's Lemire. He says
No, I think it's Lemire. Yeah, I think it's Lemire.
But yeah, no, it's but yeah, no, it's why do you think so many people like writing about trauma? You know?
Because it's real life.
Yeah.
It's just literally real life, and we all, well, no, all's too much of a statement. A good proportion of humanity has a morbid interest in it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So it's going to sell books, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, that's always like I've said this before, but I think like why we like crime and like, you know, shows like Breaking Bad and all that is because like on some level we like danger. Or
yeah, of course we do.
Or I don't know if or maybe not like danger, but like we like to we kind of like that underbelly a little bit for some reason. We're just weird like that, but we do.
Yeah, we do.
I'm one of those people who just is
I am.
Yeah, I love it.
Like, I don't know if I've made that apparently clear yet, but yeah, I am.
Oh, really?
Anything like that, you know?
Really? You like
serial
dark,
killer
stuff?
Kind of, you know, dark, deep, dirty, nasty.
You're such a marshmallow, though. I would never suspected it.
Who would have guessed?
I'm obviously kidding. Well, I mean, I guess Ocean at the End of the Lane kind of deals with trauma a little bit. Neil Gaiman's.
Oh, that's Neil Gaiman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But anyway,
I just actually got that for Eva, but I'm gonna get it myself.
it's a good one, though. You know my unabashed love for American Gods. It's not American. The only pitfall is it's not American Gods or The Sandman.
I know.
I know. I cry in the corner.
Did you like my version? Did you like my cover
of American God? Yeah, that was an interesting one. I think I forgot which one it is. I might have to look at your video again. But
it's kind of like a neon sign.
I guess Piranesi. Also, you just recently read Piranesi.
Oh yeah, yep. That's trauma.
I guess so. I never really thought of it like that. But yeah, you know, it's actually no. I have thought of that because again, Colin and I did a video talking about it, and which you watched. Yeah, I remember you commented. I'm like, D, we spoiled the whole thing, and you're like, I don't give a shit.
But I still enjoyed it.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, you do whatever you want, D.
Well, Raph does the same, you know.
Raph?
Yeah, Raph watches spoiler videos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he does the same.
I didn't want to do this, but like a little like for next time, it's just the one F. It's not two Fs. It's just.
I know. I noticed afterwards, and Joe's editing for 5 days. I was not going to bring that up at that point.
Yeah.
You know. Fair. Joe's, can we just go back and? Yeah, no, she was climbing the walls. I weren't going to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you. Yeah, I won't say any more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have since corrected myself when talking to Raph.
Yeah, it's yeah, he's good. He's good people.
He's lovely. He's just a lovely guy.
You know, I'm like as angry like you're. I told him once. I'm like, you know, for a very angry and contentious, you know, for as angry and contentious as you can get on your channel, you're a very cheerful guy. Like,
oh yeah.
He's like,
yeah. He's I would call him passionate.
Witty.
He's very.
I can't remember exactly what he said, but I remember it was like a witty like response. I'm like, yeah, you're funny.
Yeah, he's a very passionate man when he's got an idea in his head.
Oh yeah. I'm never taking that from him.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the biggest. Like, he might be one of the biggest Malazan fan.
Oh, I'm aware.
It's either him or Matt from Matt on Books. Or well, who's another like massive Malazan?
Philip Chase. I mean, Dr. Philip Chase is up there with the icon.
He really enjoys it.
And a Critical Dragon who, to some degree,
what? Actually, no. Raph's the second biggest fan. AP number one. Like, that man. Yeah, you know, I had him on my podcast, and we talked about Malazan. He just went nuts. Like, also a lovely man, I have to say.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
I told him, I'm like, Aiden is not a bad name. It's like, look, AP has a nice ring to it. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
Yes, Aiden's an Irish name, so.
It's a good name, all right?
Yeah,
it's a good name. Good name, people. Hashtag make Aiden great again.
Make Aiden popular.
Exactly.
Not the person, the name.
Yeah, no.
He's already popular.
Yeah, no. I was about to. I completely forgot about. AP. I'm like, you know what? AP. Screw that. He's the biggest Malazan fan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, doesn't he edit? Or didn't he edit for Steven Erikson?
I don't know if he actually did.
I think he did.
But maybe he did.
Yeah, I think I remember watching a video between.
Talk about a wealth of knowledge. That man.
I know.
That man.
I know.
You'll be like he's one of those guys like he considers things like you don't even think about. You're just like, what? You know, you're just. Yeah. You know, have you ever seen that meme of the guy on Star Trek, the red shirt, and he's like, what? Like that's what I feel like when I watch his videos. Like really, I did.
But I know exactly what you mean with AP. He's very intellectual where that is concerned. But that's his His specialism, isn't it, in a professor of fantasy?
Yeah. Do you watch StoryTube's channel?
Oh, occasionally, yeah. I know who they are.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like, yeah, I saw their month of Philip and
Oh,
and he did a pretty Carlos did a pretty good impersonation
oh, okay,
of of um of AP because
right.
because like he gets like the specific cadences of how he says things. I'm like, dude, he's
Yeah,
great. I love Carlos.
yeah,
Yeah, I will, like I said, him and Yolanda's malignant influence on me got me to start reading The Power of the Dog, which I think you
right.
would like. That's also a very disgusting and
Okay.
brave book.
Oh yeah,
And I'm
I'll
only
like that
like
one.
I'm only like 90 pages in, and I'm already being like, this is a fucked book.
Right. Yeah, I'll probably enjoy that.
No, but yeah, no. But back to the mental health thing. You have mental health. I also have mental health. Everybody does. What am I talking about? But
I think that the whole population has it on one degree or another.
yeah, I remember Hank Green describing depression as the common cold of mental illness. I'm like,
Yeah,
that is so true.
yeah.
I also have anxiety and depression. I have had panic attacks. Nearly
Oh,
passed out.
aren't they fun?
No, they
Aren't they
suck.
just the best?
Oh my god, yeah. It makes you feel like you're gonna die. Like,
Fun times having a panic attack. I love them.
oh, especially when you're driving. They're great. Let
Mm,
me tell you. Phenomenal when
great.
you're getting some food, driving home, and you're just like random bullshit starts, and
Yeah.
intrusive thoughts.
Times.
Love them.
Fun times.
I hate them.
Yeah.
No.
Hate them with a passion. I don't see the need for them. Don't see why they happen.
Yeah, I used to think I was just like crazy or something, and I'm like, oh, intrusive thoughts. That's a thing. That makes
Yeah.
so much sense now.
Yeah, my youngest girl suffers badly with like intrusive thoughts, but that stemmed from her nightmares. Um, it's eased off a bit now, but a couple of years back when she'd just gone to uni, actually, she'd have nightmares about certain things, and then she would, in the real world, see them.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. In Cold Blood also talks about trauma a little bit.
All right.
I read that. I finally read it. I mean, I knew the story, but I already read it this year, and it was phenomenal. Read it with Colin. I love that man.
Yeah.
He's doing well. Haven't seen him around in a couple weeks.
Colin from Colin's Corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might text him after this. Be like, "How you doing, bro?"
Yes.
It's
See, that's another thing,
it's
isn't
kind of
it?
funny because we both go to college, and
Oh, okay.
he'll just be like, "College, man." I'm like, "I know, I know, I know."
Yeah.
It's, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, my girl's just finished, so she's all done.
Oh, that must be great, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's now just looking for full-time work, but yeah, she's very, very relieved that all her exams are done and over with.
So, like, where would you say you're at now in your journey, as people love to say when they make these type of videos?
I'm good at the moment. I'm good, and that's all I can say for now, isn't it? You know, is today I'm good. Don't know how I'll be tomorrow. I was good yesterday. Hopefully that pattern will continue, but right now I'm good.
Yeah, I remember there's a line from The Road, the Cormac McCarthy novel. There's a part where a guy gets up and he asks the father, like, "What's the bravest thing you've done recently?" And he just does his old no Cormac McCarthy spits, and then he goes, "Getting up today, or getting up this morning."
Yep,
I'm like, that's a
and
freaking baller
that's
line.
very true when you're in your deepest, darkest place. That is very true to actually get up and face that day.
I
Yeah,
think you would like The Road.
yeah.
It's hard to recommend McCarthy, but I think you would like The Road. Like, it's nasty and depraved, but like there's heart in it.
Mm. I do have a McCarthy book. Can't remember right now what it is, but
In
I do have
comparison,
one.
like Blood Meridian, which has like no heart at all. It's just
Right,
messed up the whole time.
right. Yeah, that is something I do like. Is that exactly what you just said there? Where it's a bit dark but with a heart to it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where I'm at.
that's funny.
Yeah,
I talk with my friend Jason about that because he also likes dark stuff. I'm like, look, I like dark stuff. There has to be some like hope in there. There has to be like some like something I
yeah.
can latch onto. And he jokes with me. He's all like, pussy. I'm like, fuck you.
No, I do like that, but I have yet to find the dark book. I've still yet to find it.
Oh, I've read. God, what's the most fucked up thing I've ever read? Well, there's a book called Hog that a friend of mine described it to me, and I'm like, yeah, no. I'm generally
Mm,
open, like, you know, even stuff I don't like, child killing or like rape or stuff. Like, I'll read about that.
mm,
I won't like it, but I'll read about it.
yeah, yeah,
But Hog, from what I've heard, is so like fucked up beyond all measures. I don't think I'm gonna read it.
yeah.
like, I don't think I'm gonna do it. Just
I just want to. It's my little horror niche that I want fulfilling. Really, that's what it is. It's not because I enjoy that kind of thing. I'm not. I'm not that much of a sicko. I don't go, yay, rape.
do you?
I'm not that.
Well, no.
I'm not that person. I don't. I don't want that to happen to anyone. I don't want that to be a reality. Let me just establish that right
Who
now.
would go around in their right mind and be like, "Yay,
Yeah,
rape"?
well, a rapist. A rapist, Brit.
uh,
But
give that guy a
no, that's
medal. Like no,
yeah, that's not the idea behind my macabre interest. It's
no.
I like the horror. I want.
Do you
I'm
have do you have
so
a thing where you like? I don't know if you're. I'm this way. I don't know if you're the same way. But do you have a tendency when you're reading to like to push your limits?
yes,
Ah,
yeah,
I knew this is why.
yeah,
I knew we got along so well for a good reason.
yeah,
I'm the same way. Like I'll pick up
yeah,
a really depraved book, and I think that's like why I like horror, is because horror is that genre where you can
yes,
test your buttons.
yeah, absolutely. My horror's my favorite. Well, mystery and horror are on the same level for me. But that's because of the amount of horror I've watched, the amount of horror I've been put in front of, there's nothing at the moment that is what I consider horror.
I mean, my favorite horror film is literally the one that unsettled me the most. That's why I consider it to be the best one, because it's like
The Thing.
it's the thing. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I got after John the other day because I saw his movie video. I'm like, you got talked out of the thing? What's wrong with you? And he's like,
yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
get out of here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mine.
no, what
Oh,
he said
what's
was,
mine?
I'm glad you got my back. I'm glad you got my back.
Yeah. What's mine? I'll probably have to say still for me the one that made the biggest impact. Now I think it's Wet. I'm like, at the
Wet?
time I was like, which is Hellraiser.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what's funny about Hellraiser? Like Hellraiser, just like I don't know. It
It's
just
weird,
felt
isn't it?
disgusting. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it
wasn't
is.
like I was unsettled, but I was just like,
Yeah,
this is just gross.
it's vile. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's a good
Absolutely
word.
vile.
It was vile.
But the box just fascinates me.
That's. I want
I
to
want
read
the
Clive
box.
Barker at some point because
Oh, he's so good. You know who
cause
else you want to give a go to? Dean Koontz.
yeah, but I've always thought like he was like Stephen King. I'm just like I just want to read Stephen King.
Similar.
Now I know they're probably not exactly the same, but like when I
Yeah,
see
but
them, like
Dean Koontz is slightly more psychological than Stephen King. Slightly more.
all right, I guess I'll check
I
out
mean,
one of his books at one
I'm just
point.
like sneaky peeking this one at the minute.
Huh, huh. Oh, okay.
No, it's not bad. Not bad.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's. I mean, I'm not against Dean Koontz. I've just always been kind of like, I don't know, like King. No, it's just.
they are similar. I'm not gonna lie, they are similar.
Nah, again, I don't want to like, because like every time I like compare something, people are like, "Oh no, it's not the same thing." Look, I get it's probably not the same thing, but like
No, they're
the
not.
vibes,
They're not
like I'm a
identical,
vibe
but I
guy.
mean, they have
Like I often
similarities.
preach about singularity of vision when I review books, so I have to
Mm.
take that into consideration when I
Yeah.
read something. I can't just be
Yeah.
like, though it's complicated. I'm not getting into that. That's a different video.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I thought you were gonna bring up Malzahn because I heard
I
Malzahn
did.
deals
I've
with
said it.
trauma
I did
as
say it to you.
I thought you bring it up as like a book about trauma, or did you? I must
Yeah,
not
I did.
caught
I
it.
did say. I did say it. Yeah, I did.
Oh, I must have
Yeah,
catch it
especially Dead House Gates. Yeah.
because I hear he talks about trauma a lot.
Yeah.
In Malzahn.
Well, I'm saying Dead House Gates. Practically every book has got an element of trauma in it.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know when I'm ever gonna try Malzahn. Like, you know that series that everyone's like, "Oh my God, Britain," or "Oh my God,
Yeah.
D," you have to just right now go to the bookstore. Don't even buy it. Just steal it and read it.
Yeah. Just so you've got it.
Evie
Not even messing.
will send you a copy if you're
Yeah.
if you're not if you're.
Yeah. What you don't have it.
I'm just really stubborn. I'm just really stubborn.
Yeah. Yeah. But you will enjoy it.
I hope so.
Yeah, you will.
Like that's the
I
thing
know
about
you
me.
will.
I want to enjoy the books that I read. Because everyone's like, "Man,
You
why?"
will
Like,
enjoy
I've had
Malazan.
people ask me, like, "Britton, why are you so positive in your reviews?" Because I'm talking about books that I want to read, and I think are worth talking about.
You will enjoy Malazan, and you will
Now, if I don't like a
enjoy.
book, I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
You'll enjoy Invisible Man as well because it has an undertone in the language of Shakespeare.
Oh, I do like Shakespeare.
Mhm.
Ooh, ooh,
So you will like it.
ooh, I love it.
And Alicia can back me up on that, by the way.
Oh,
Me and Alicia had a
how
conversation
did I
today
forget
about it.
about
And
Gillian Flynn? Phenomenal at writing trauma.
is that?
Though my kind of hot take is I think Sharp Objects is even better than Gone Girl. As much as Gone Girl is a phenomenal book, but
Gone
Sharp
Girl,
Objects
yeah.
is freaking great. I love that book
Okay.
so much. And
Gone Girl.
I've had some
I
people
know.
who are like, it's too expository. Fuck you, okay? Great book. I don't care if I'd say no, okay. I'm not not saying that to you, just to the people who are like,
No, I got it.
I think you would like Sharp Objects though, if you ever read it.
I know of Gone Girl, but Sharp Objects. No, I've not read that. I'll have to give that a
It's so
read.
good. And like they're like, it's too expository. You know what? Like, just
In what sense?
I don't know. I didn't ask for details,
Right.
but
See, I would have to ask the question, but in what sense?
I'm just like, I'm very passionate about what I love. If you
Yes.
didn't notice.
No, I no idea, Britain. You don't give that off at all.
Yeah, so like I get mad when people are like,
What Leopard Red Wolf? No, never have picked that up at all.
like I can't do the whole like cold,
Neil Gaiman.
like I can't do the whole cold like this is the story. Like I you have to be a little passionate. I
American
can't.
Gods. What?
I'm very passionate about it. But yeah, no.
I'm very passionate about a couple of books as well. I have to be honest.
I know it's just the books I love. I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, I'm the same. Spear Cuts Through Water, Kings of the Wild.
It's not
Stephen
fully an
King's It.
intellectual thing for me. It's something I love. Balance, people. Golden Mean. Thank you, Mark Hannibin, if you watch this video.
Yes. What is it? Black Leopard, Red Wolf? Is that right? Or the other way around? Red Leopard, Black Wolf.
Yeah, no. You got it right. You got it right the first time.
Right. Black Leopard,
I'm hoping to read Moonwitch Spider King.
Oh, I know. I saw that.
So that one, I'm like, oh man,
I kind of like the sound of that one more.
I'm good. Oh man, yeah, it's about a woman. So that was bad.
Is it direct follow on from
Well,
or
what's
is it a
interesting
independent?
about it's called the Dark Star trilogy, but it's the same story being told, but it's three different perspectives.
Oh,
So the
okay.
first one is from a guy
Oh,
called Tracker's perspective. The second one is from a lady called Sogalon's perspective. You'll see Sogalon if you read Black Leopard, Red Wolf first.
right,
But
right.
apparently, you don't have to. I mean, I'm a sucker for chronology, so I mean, that's just how I'm
Yeah.
wired. Um, but but I mean, I don't think you have to read any of one first.
Well, no, because it's probably it wouldn't matter, would it? If they're all sort of to do with each other's story, then
Yeah,
it really probably wouldn't matter. But
because like
I get what
Sogalon,
you're.
she shows up in Black Leopard, Red Wolf, and she's kind
Yeah,
of again the whole one of the big points of that book anyway is who can you trust
yeah, yeah.
because really plays with that unreliable narrator thing. Which
Right.
that's another thing. Like, is there such a thing as a reliable narrator? What is this? D, what do you think?
A reliable
Is there
narrator.
such a thing as a reliable narrator?
Well, you're the narrator, aren't you? So
We
that's up
have
to you.
biases though. Like everyone has biases, you know.
I don't know about that. I see myself as the narrator of my own what I'm reading, so I don't know about that.
Anyway. Anyway.
Mm,
Um
Not sure about that one.
no, but I yeah,
I was going to say something to you then. I've forgotten.
oh, what were we going to say?
It's gone.
Oh,
What was I
all
going to say?
right. I do hope to do those tags that you tag me in. I've been meaning to do those, but again, I've had a bunch of videos that I've been doing.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do them. I'll do them.
Mhm.
No, but
If I don't tag you in anything, don't you come to me again saying why haven't I tagged you? Because when I tag you, you're not doing it. That's you, Tom.
okay, fine. I deserve that. I deserve that.
What was I going to say to you? Oh, I was going to ask you read something. What was it? Blackwater.
No, but it looked interesting. I've seen it though, and it looks interesting to me.
Mm,
Because I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
dark, like macabre, like southern stuff.
Yeah,
Oh my
Southern,
god,
Southern
yes.
Gothic. Yeah, it's yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, it's good. I'm not entirely sure what to make of the particular character yet, but it's good. I think it's kind of borderline in sci-fi.
All right, I'll have to add it to my list. Then.
Yeah, I think so.
No, but yes, I have heard of that. Oh man, is there other mental health things to talk about? I mean,
Just
Oh well, I guess I should answer if I'm doing okay. Well, I'm doing the best I can.
yeah,
I'll put it that way. I think it's the best you can do.
yeah.
As cliche
That's
as
not,
that might sound,
no, but that's
because
all anybody can do.
as again, I can hear the oh wow, that's a profound statement there, Britton. But no, really, that's kind of the best you can do at the moment, and there's you can take that however you want.
Day at a time. Day at a time.
Exactly, D. See, you're getting it.
Day at a time. Don't ask too much of yourself. Day at a time.
I know. I think I get it from my dad. My dad's a similar way.
The problem is, I mean, when you're in a job and you're in a working environment, it's not asked of you day at a time. You, you, you can't have that mentality in the workplace a day at a time because that's just kind of an impossibility. You're expected to the week after, that in some jobs. So that can brush off into your own way of thinking in your home life.
Mm.
So it's very difficult. It's easy to say, but it's a difficult thing to do. Is to get that balance of just taking things as they come. And I think Epic made a really good point at you just can't control everything.
Mm-hmm.
And once you sort of come to terms with that fact that you just can't control everything, you have to relinquish some of that control and just potentially have trust in things. Or if you are going to face a challenging time, that is going to happen. That's going to happen sometimes. You are going to hit that challenging point, and it's how you're going to get yourself through it. That is going to make the difference. And that's just life, really.
Yeah. Though, you know, life isn't all bad all the time.
Yeah.
There's some...
And that's another thing Epic said, and I massively agreed with him on that. Hugely agreed with him. Because if anybody ever talks to me about mental health, I always say that. And it's exactly what Epic said, which was find your thing that you're grateful for. Find just your one thing that you're positive or grateful for, and allow that to get you through that day. So if that be your partner, if that be, I don't know, a parcel that you've got coming today, a book you've got coming today, a new pair of shoes, it doesn't matter how small a thing it is. If it matters to you, then that makes the difference. And if it's something that you're looking forward to, then hold on to that and keep that positive. Because if you can find at least one positive every day, that can make all the difference. And slowly but surely, your mindset will adjust to that and it should grow. So whereas at the moment you might only be finding one, in a week's time you might be finding two. So just find that positive, find that one
You
thing
know,
that today made you smile.
I'd like to add on to that. There's something I've done in my life. It's, I think, like, well, maybe it's because I'm young that I think of in this way, but I just think like, wow, man, there's things I want to do before. Well, this is more staving off from doing something very drastic.
Yeah.
But what are things you want to do? Focus on those things you want to do before because we're not here forever. Think about that. That's what keeps you that's what keeps me going anyway.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, there's a lot of people who are like, oh man, life is just sucking ass right now. And look, there's plenty of reasons to be mad and sad about the world. There's a bunch of crazy stuff going down. I mean, I was talking to you today about a trial that I wasn't looking in on, not the one I looked in on. There was another one about child sexual abuse. Like that's happening. It's bad. But life also is magical too. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep finding that.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
I'll get off the soapbox now.
No, I couldn't agree more with you there. That's the trick, is to that magical thing, that positive element, that thing that makes you smile.
I mean, it's tough, don't get me wrong, it can be hard. I know it can be hard.
Oh, it's a battle of wills with your own mind. An absolute battle of wills. Who's going to win it? That's how it feels. Who's going to win this battle?
Or as Kendrick Lamar would say, a war with yourself. I almost forgot, and this might be a bit of an unconventional choice, but the grand fantasy itself, Lord of the Rings, actually talks about trauma, especially Return of the King by the end of the story. So there you go, because J.R.R. Tolkien, believe it or not, actually went through that stuff because he fought in World War I and all that.
Yeah.
If I remember right, Mordor was actually inspired by his time in the trenches. So there you go.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. There's no magical answer for it, but like you say, get the help. Don't suffer it alone. Don't suffer in silence. Reach out.
Yeah, that's a good thing to mention too. You're not alone, believe it or not. You might feel it, but your brain ain't always a natural thing. It ain't always a rational thing.
It likes to play games and trick you, and sometimes make you feel like you're on your own. That's not necessarily the case. You can, even if you are actually on your own, you can reach out. There is help out there.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid to do that. And don't think it's wrong. And even if you're male or, I can't think of the word, sort of See yourself as a male. Don't think that that means that you shouldn't speak out. You absolutely should. You know, it's not a non-male thing that to have mental health. So you should just suck it up,
Yeah,
buttercup, and
that's
crack
a good
on.
way to put it. It's not unmanly to talk.
No, it's not.
Actually, I'll do the Uno reverse card. It's actually more manly if you talk about your mental health.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God, I can't believe I just said that. But you know, it is
No,
what it is.
I kind of agree with you. Like it's like they say, men don't cry. I think a man who is assured of himself and knows who he is more than happy to cry. You know, because he knows who he is. He's not having to put on this front um, to pretend that he's something that he's not. And that's what I think a lot of men have to do, is they have to pretend they're something they're not. And that can cause mental health issues because you're losing track of your identity. You're trying to fit into this maybe stereotypical world and it doesn't suit you. So don't do that.
Excuse
You
me.
know, reach out.
You know,
Get help.
that's something I've actually tried to avoid in my life is is like try to be all like alpha male, because like, to be honest, if I did that, I would just probably be, it just makes you more of a dick.
And you probably end up really disliking yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so why be
No, hey,
somebody
it's
that you're
okay
not?
to do manly things for sure. I'm not saying it's
I do
bad.
more man things than I do woman.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, I'm hardly a stereotypical girl. I'm what we call in the UK a ladette, where I'm more like a man than I am a
Well,
woman.
yeah, you know, you like really dark and depraved stuff, so that was
I
already
love
a plus.
building stuff. I love tools. I love motorbikes. I love before I found out I had a heart condition. I love high adrenaline junky stuff.
Oh no.
I
Well,
bungee jumped and I'm quite
this is something I've
adventurous.
said before. Like, be okay with who you are. And
Yeah,
I know, again,
absolutely.
wow, profound statement there, Britton. But really, I'm being serious. Be okay with who you are. That'll take you a long way.
Yeah, love yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody else can love you if you don't love yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
But yeah, so reach out, find help.
yeah,
Don't
exactly.
suffer in silence. Don't
Well,
suffer in silence.
let me tell you, I tried going at it alone. It sucked. Don't do that.
Yeah.
it, yeah. I don't like anything about that time. But don't do it. Just don't. Just don't do it. Get help. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing. It's like being bald. There's nothing shame in it. Anyway. Well, we've been at it for a while, and I am getting hungry. So, D,
Britain,
thank you. You are a
you're welcome.
very, very lovely person, and
Thank you.
for putting in the time today to talk to yours truly about this. It was a bit rambly, but like I said, as long as you have thoughts and opinions and feelings, we should get through it. And I think we talked a lot about that.
Oh, I
So
think we did. I think
I
we've
think,
covered most bases.
yeah. So there you go.
Yes. And thank you for your friendship, Britain.
Oh, you're too kind, D. I have to say, I mean, I haven't known you for very long. You might have one of the biggest hearts of people I've known. I have to say.
Yeah. The older I get, the softer I get. So take advantage of it.
Anyway, if you have any social media you'd like to talk about before we go, feel free.
Okay, well, the YouTube channel Through the Pages with D, Twitter, which I think is TT Pages with D, and Goodreads, and I have a Discord, which if you check out one of my videos, you can see all those links to the social media on there.
Very good. I mean, you can find me on Twitter. They call it X now, but I still call it Twitter because I'm an OG.
Yeah.
Goodreads and Letterboxd, where I write reviews that are probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now, even though this wasn't technically a review. And you can find me on Discord because I also have a server. It needs more life in it, but I do have one.
Mine needs more life in it too, but you know.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I did. So, yeah. We should do this again.
Hopefully it's helped someone as well.
Exactly. Take care, everyone.
Bye.